NVIDIA just dropped a tiny AI model that thinks like a big one. It's free, it's fast, and actually solves logic puzzles without losing its mind. Most small models are dumb as rocks. This one's different. I'm going to show you exactly how to use it to automate your business tasks for basically nothing. Okay, let's talk about something that just changed the game for cheap AI automation. NVIDIA released Nemotron 3 Nano. And before you click away thinking this is another boring model announcement, stay with me, because this thing is doing stuff that usually costs you 50 cents per request on Claude or GPT-4. But you're getting it for free, or if you're running it yourself, pennies. Here's the problem with most small AI models. They're fast, sure, they're cheap, absolutely, but they're also kind of stupid. Ask them to solve a logic puzzle, they hallucinate. Give them a long document, they forget half of it. Tell them to structure messy data into clean JSON, good luck. You end up paying for the big, expensive models because the small ones just can't handle real work. NVIDIA looked at this problem and said, what if we could make a tiny model that actually thinks? That's Nemotron 3 Nano. Let me break down what makes this insane. First, the architecture. Most small models are just shrunk down transformers. They're like taking a smart person and removing parts of their brain. Nemotron 3 Nano is built different. It uses something called a hybrid architecture. Part of it is Mamba-style state space layers. That's a fancy way of saying it can handle really long context without slowing down. The other part is transformer layers for the actual thinking. Think of it like this. You've got a massive office building full of specialists, accountants, lawyers, engineers, designers. The building has maybe 30 billion employees on paper. When you come in with a problem, you don't pay for all 30 billion people. You only pay for the 3 people who actually know how to solve your specific issue. That's mixture of experts. The model is huge, but only a tiny slice activates for each task. So you get the intelligence of a big model with the speed and cost of a tiny one. It's like 3 billion parameters actually working per request. But it has a knowledge base of something way bigger. Now here's where it gets really good. Most small models die on long context. You give them a 10,000 word document and they just start making stuff up. Nemotron 3 Nano can handle hundreds of thousands of tokens. Some configurations push toward 1 million tokens. That means you can feed it entire code bases, server logs, transcripts, whatever, and it actually remembers all of it. The state space layer design means it scales linearly, not quadratically like normal transformers. Translation: it doesn't slow down and crash when you give it long inputs. Okay, back to the demos. Before now, you had 2 choices. Use a cheap, dumb model that messes everything up, or use an expensive smart model and watch your costs explode. Nemotron 3 Nano is the third option. It's smart enough to handle complex logic, cheap enough to run on everything, and fast enough to process thousands of requests. This is the model you use for agent workflows, the behind-the-scenes automation that makes your business actually run. Let me show you exactly how to access this. Go to build.nvidia.com. That's NVIDIA's model catalog. You'll see a bunch of models listed there. Find Nemotron 3 Nano, click Get API Key, sign up or log in with your NVIDIA account, grab your API key, and here's the best part. It uses the exact same format as OpenAI's API. If you've ever used GPT-3 or GPT-4 through code, you already know how to use this. You don't need to learn a new SDK. You don't need special tools. You just change 2 things in your code: the base URL and the model name. Let me show you the actual code. You import OpenAI client, set base URL to integrate api.nvidia.com v1, drop in your NVIDIA API key, set the model name to whatever the exact Nemotron 3 Nano version is in the catalog. Then you just use it exactly like you'd use ChatGPT's API. Send messages, get responses. That's it. I'm going to show you 3 real examples that prove why this model is a game changer. And demo number 1. Logic puzzles. Most small models completely fail at constraint-based reasoning. You give them a puzzle with rules, and they just ignore half the rules. Let's test Nemotron 3 Nano with something practical. Here's the prompt. I need to schedule 7 different AI automation workshops across 3 weeks. Each workshop has specific requirements. Workshop A needs to happen before Workshop B. Workshop C can't be in the same week as Workshop D. Workshop E requires at least 2 days after Workshop F. Workshop G must be in week 2. Explain your reasoning step by step, then give me the final schedule, then verify every constraint is met. A typical small model will give you a schedule that breaks at least 2 rules. Nemotron 3 Nano actually walks through the logic. It lists out each constraint. It reasons about which workshops can go where. It builds the schedule step by step. Then it checks its own work. This is the kind of task that normally requires Claude or GPT-4. You just got it for free, and it happens in seconds, not minutes, seconds. This is perfect for any business that needs to handle scheduling, resource allocation, or multi-step planning. Demo number 2, structuring messy data. Let's say you're running AI Profit Boardroom and people send you interest forms, but they're messy, long paragraphs, random formatting, information all over the place. You need to turn that into clean, structured data for your CRM. Here's a messy inquiry. Hey, I'm really interested in learning about AI automation for my marketing agency. I've been doing SEO for about 5 years, and I'm looking to scale without hiring more people. I saw your videos on YouTube, and they're awesome. I especially like the one about automating client reports. I'm based in Austin, Texas. My main pain point right now is spending too much time on repetitive tasks like data entry and email follow-ups. Let me know how I can get started. Thanks. Now watch what Nemotron 3 Nano can do. I give it this prompt. You are a data extraction engine. Extract these fields: name, business type, years of experience, location, main pain point, specific interest. Output as clean JSON with exactly these keys, nothing else. It pulls out business type, marketing agency, years of experience, 5 years in SEO, location, Austin, Texas. Main pain point, repetitive tasks, data entry, email follow-ups. Specific interest, automating client reports, perfect formatting, valid JSON, ready to drop straight into your database. This is exactly the kind of grunt work that eats up hours every week. Now it's automated for basically free, and it's fast enough to handle hundreds of these per minute. Demo number 3, analyzing long documents. This is where the long context really shines. Let's say you're troubleshooting why your automation workflow failed. You've got a huge log file, thousands of lines. Normal small models would choke on this. They'd forget the beginning by the time they read the end. I paste in a long server log showing an automation sequence, multiple API calls, database writes, email triggers, the whole chain. Here's the prompt. You are a system reliability analyst. Read this full log. Identify the first critical failure. Explain the chain of events that led to the crash. Suggest 2 concrete ways to prevent this in the future. Nemotron 3 Nano reads the entire thing. It finds the exact line where the first error happened. It traces the cascade. API timeout led to retry logic, which overwhelmed the database, which caused the email queue to back up. It suggests 2 fixes: implement exponential backoff on retries and add rate limiting to the database connection pool. This is DevOps level analysis from a model you can run for pennies or free if you're using NVIDIA's API in the trial tier. This is the kind of intelligence you'd normally need a senior engineer for. Now it's instant. Now here's something else that makes this ecosystem even more powerful. NVIDIA isn't just dropping a model and walking away. They're building something called Nemo Gym. It's a framework for fine-tuning these models using reinforcement learning. Here's why that matters. Let's say you want Nemotron 3 Nano to be an expert at your specific business, like a customer service agent that knows your product catalog inside and out, or a sales assistant that understands your CRM and can route leads perfectly. You can simulate that environment and train the model on it. You're essentially creating a specialist AI employee. It's not just a generic chatbot anymore. It's deeply optimized for one job, your job. And because it's still a small model, it's still cheap and fast to run. This is the future of business automation, not one giant AI that does everything poorly, but a team of small specialist AIs that each do one thing perfectly. And they all cost almost nothing to operate. Okay, let's talk about where this model is strong and where it's weak, because I'm not going to hype this up as something it's not. Strengths, efficiency, only a small portion of the model activates per task, so you get fast responses and low costs. Instruction following, it actually does what you ask. It doesn't go off on creative tangents. Tool calling, if you're building agents that need to interact with APIs, databases, or external tools, this model is fantastic at that. Long context. Feed it huge documents and it actually remembers them. Reasoning, it can walk through multi-step logic without hallucinating. Weaknesses, it's still a nano model. Don't expect it to write a novel. Don't expect it to create a fully production-ready SaaS application from scratch. Don't expect it to have the world knowledge of GPT-4 or the creative depth of Claude. This is not your artist. This is not your visionary. This is your worker, the model that sits in the middle of your stack and does the grunt work. The planner, the router, the data cleaner, the log analyzer. Think of it like this. You wouldn't hire a Nobel Prize-winning physicist to sort your email. That's expensive and wasteful. You hire someone smart enough to do the job well, but efficient enough that you can afford to have them work all day. That's Nemotron 3 Nano. It's the smart worker in your automation stack. And because NVIDIA is releasing bigger Nemotron 3 models too, you can imagine a future setup like this. A big Nemotron model handles the heavy creative strategy stuff. A bunch of nano models handle all the routing, data processing, and execution. You get a full AI workforce for a fraction of what it costs to run everything through frontier models. Now let me tie this all together. Nemotron 3 Nano gives you hybrid architecture for better long context handling, Mixture of experts for efficiency without sacrificing intelligence. Open weight license so you can inspect it, run it locally, or use the free API. OpenAI compatible endpoints so it plugs right into your existing tools. And it's designed specifically for the kind of work that actually makes businesses run. Structuring data, analyzing logs, routing tasks, calling tools, solving logic problems.